Hello everybody in YouTube land. I wanted to bring up a topic regarding some issues I've been having with this Hamilton Beach Flex Brew coffee maker. Originally got it, thought it would be a great idea to have both a carafe and K-cup machine all in one. Had very high hopes for this. Got this in August of 2015, but really didn't start to use it until December, since we were doing a remodel of our kitchen here. And started using it. It was working good at first, but I've noticed that after about I'd say about a month of use, I was making coffee on the K-cup side and started to notice that the coffee wasn't tasting right. It had this weird odor, almost like plastic odor when I was making it, and then when I would take it out and you would actually smell the coffee would actually have this weird smell to it. And I thought originally it was just the K-cup I used, so I made another one of a different type. I actually used a 8 o'clock coffee as my second one, and it was a stronger coffee where I was able to still smell the weird smell. It wasn't as pronounced because the coffee was stronger, but still nonetheless it didn't smell right. So got a little concerned with that because ever since then it was just things weren't really tasting right. So that raised some concerns to do some research. The other thing I was finding that whenever a little quirk with this thing, and Consumer Reports actually stated this was a safety hazard, so it was non-recommended, is that no matter what side you use, whether it's the K-cup or the carafe, all this really is a diverter for the water. That's its primary function, is the diverter. The heating pad here that says hot will run regardless of which side you use. So if you're making just a K-cup and you have this lever over to the K-cup side and it runs, this pad down here is going to run and get hot, and according to the reports reaches nearly 400 degrees. So what the issue here is that if you go to reach for this cup, say with your left hand, sorry, I'm holding my iPad here with my right, now I'm using my right hand. If you go to reach, you could potentially touch that pad and get burned. Even though there is a hot warning label, the sensible thing to do is to keep the carafe on there, even though part of the discussion that I was having here regarding this with my partner is that the carafe, with no water in it, could potentially crack or shatter if it gets hot with nothing in it. So that's also a concern. But the other thing, like I said, is the bigger concern here is that when you make something especially with the K-cup side is where I really notice the plastic taste, that's a health concern there. And some of the blogs I've been reading, that people have been getting sick because when you get that plastic taste, that's chemicals leaching into the water. If you can taste it, it's obviously strong enough. And I'm sure you've probably heard stuff about leaving water bottles in your car with the heat, that the plastic would leach into the water. Well, this is definitely by far the most pronounced possibility of that happening, because you got super hot water going through this thing, and you can taste it that strongly. That's an issue. And one of the things I also noticed with this guy here, and now mind you, I've been using this since December and it is now mid-January 2016, is if you notice here on the top of the unit, and I can get in the light, you could see the plastic top is actually starting to warp and melt. I'm sure you guys can see that in the light here, that it's actually melting. When this thing runs, you put your hand on top of there, you can feel the heat coming off this thing. But if this thing is getting hot enough after about a dozen uses on the K-cup side, that it's enough to melt the top, you know that there's something more serious going on the inside. And I called Hamilton Beach on this thing, and they're willing to send me out another one, even though based on what I've researched here, a new one is not going to be much better, since there's been dozens and dozens of people reporting plastic taste on this little sucker here. So I got to tell you that very disappointed. Would not recommend this thing at all based on this experience, you know. And unfortunately, as of right now, there really isn't much of anything else on a combo unit out right now that you can get that gives you K-Cup and carafe together. So I hope this video was helpful. Oh, and by the way, as far as what they'll offer you under warranty, is they're willing to send you another one, but you gotta be the one paying the shipping, which just doesn't sit right with me. And I expressed that to the representative, but they tell me that's all I can offer. Now, after I was in contact with them and I found the Consumer Reports video on this, when they sent that over to Hamilton Beach, Hamilton Beach responded by saying that they are willing to give refunds on anybody who requests it. So I think I'm going to go that route rather than get another one of these things and experiencing the same issues. So once again, I hope this video was helpful to everybody, and have a great day.